could just, when the child is facing you, for example, if they're in the high chair and you want to work on consonants, you're feeding them, you're talking to them, you might as well play. So you'll go, let's play the d-d-d game. And you get really close to their face and you go, look at me. Bring their attention with your pointer to your chin. D-d-d-d-d-d-d-d. Can you do that? D-d-d-d-d-d-d. Can you do that? Don't worry about sounding or looking silly. Your baby loves you. It doesn't matter, okay? If it brings benefit to them, just do it, okay? So, b-b-b-b-b-b, look at me. B-b-b. You could do this one with b. B-b-b-b-b-b-b-b-b-b-b-b-b. Can you do that? By the way, with the with the vowel, you could also do this one. Kids love to copy that one, and you're getting that out of them.
That was Riley's very first sound was
That one, huh?
she thought it was so funny, and it's funny.
It is funny.
We agree that the funnier you are and the sillier you are, the more likely your kids to pay attention to you.
That's precisely right. So, which one? If your children are producing some vowel sounds, can you drop it in the chat below? I want to see what kind of sounds your child is producing. Is it ah? Is it e? Is it oo? Are they producing any sounds at all? So just drop it in there. I'm going to respond to all your questions below. So feel free to post any questions on there as well. Okay, next steps. So we moved on from blowing to vowels to consonants, okay? Next is, again, fun, exclamations. So for example, you could do, if you have blocks, the whole game is you build blocks, and then you have the child drop the blocks, and each time you go, uh-oh.
Yep.
Okay? And the point of the game is not to do it once. The point is to do it 20 times, 30 times, and laugh as you're going, uh-oh, and you accentuate the sound, okay? You could do this, the next exclamation, wow, with bubbles. So you blow bubbles, and as they come out, you go, wow, okay? Again, 20 times every day. Repetition is key. Please keep it in mind that repetition is key, and don't give up. If you don't hear the child imitating wow on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, doesn't mean you need to just stop with that activity. Keep on going at it, please, okay? Now, the next easy things you could do is animal sound work. So, for example, and I'm going to show you, you could have a little barn. They sell them everywhere. A lot of you have these little barns with animals, okay? And you could really, take any toys, any animals that that you have. It doesn't have to be plastic ones, okay? And then what you do is as you're actually playing with the child, you give them the sound of the animal. So don't name the animal if the child is not yet speaking. Give them the sound, because the sound is easier to copy, okay? So for example, it's much easier to copy moo than to say cow, okay? M is one of the first 6 consonants, remember, so it's easier for the child to say moo versus k, which comes in sometimes by 4 years of age. So it's a much harder word. So again, you play with it. Moo, moo. Look, the cow came out. Moo. Look, we're going to put her on the roof. Moo. Let the cow hide now. Where is it? Where is it? Moo. Right? So you produce that many, many, many times, and you do that with various animals. So quack, quack, and oink, oink, and so on. If you're enjoying the game, the child will more likely enjoy it as well. Okay, so repetition is key. Another key component is praising them. Okay, so for example, you're going with moo, moo, right? And they're looking at you very intently, but they're not copying. So it's still important to give them that praise. You're looking so nicely at how the cow is there. Good job. If they're going, to try to copy you, that's their attempt, right? So you got to praise them again. Good trying. You don't have to say that's exactly how you say it or that's not how you say it, but you still need to praise them for any attempt.
Now, if my child were to go, would I expand that into, or ooh, ooh, would I expand that into moo to continue the sound, or would I allow them to keep going ooh, ooh?
Okay, so when they go ooh, ooh, you can go, yes, moo. So you do expand it, that is correct, and praise them as well. So you could go, They're going, ooh, ooh. You're going, yes, moo. Good job trying. So you still reinforce their attempt.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
And yeah, don't correct. So don't say ooh. You're supposed to say moo. Don't do that because sometimes children stop wanting to imitate at all. So
And we don't want to discourage these language
you
skills.
don't want to discourage. Exactly. Okay. The last thing that I'm going to suggest to do to at home to kind of stir their speech and language development is to announce familiar routines with the same phrases over and over again. So keeping in mind that receptive language is key, right? You want them to know what's going to happen as you're saying it. For example, we're going out, and you say that exact phrase each time before you're getting ready to go out. Or bath time, you say that before. Okay, so you don't say it as the child is already in the bathtub. You say
Right.
it ahead of time. Let's go to eat, and then you go. So what happens is after you say it 20 days in a row, three or whatever, 1 to 3 times a day, eventually they click with the idea, so when my mom says bath time, that's over there. So the child will just run there. And there's your receptive language forming right there. They're going to form associations between the phrase and the action. After that, you could teach them the word bath, and they'll already more likely to say it, right? Because they have linked
Hear it every day.
with the wording. Exactly.
Now, I'm going to take a couple of quick questions from the comment section here, Jelena.
Okay.
Riley, mommy loves you. Thank you, dear. Melinda says that her son takes extra virgin coconut oil. Is that
Okay.
similar? Would that have the similar effects of the olive oil or no?
Well, based on what I've done research on, it's specifically extra virgin olive oil that has the effects. Coconut oil is very good. Like it's good for you in general. It's good, and you can cook on it, right? Coconut oil is very good to cook on, just like avocado oil is highly recommended to cook on. But when we're talking about raw and specifically for brain and cognitive development, uh, extra virgin olive oil is what's recommended.
Now, I'm sorry, honey, I'm going to butcher your name, so I'm not even going to attempt to say it. She said, thanks for the info about the fish oil and olive oil. They're going to try it on their son. And Melinda says that she took DHA pills while pregnant with her autistic son.
Okay.
I know I was recommended DHA and I took it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so Hannah actually has a comment saying that she just got the Nordic Naturals gummy fish oils,
Okay.
but her son hates the flavors and will not eat them.
Okay. Okay, Hannah. So it happens frequently that the kids will not accept the gummies. So I'm not sure if you could actually open it and put the oil from the gummy. I'm not sure what it looks like inside into food, like into oatmeal to kind of hide it. The way to mask it is with maple syrup or you could put it into orange juice if they're drinking, or cranberry juice, into any juice or into any syrup. Um, so maybe you could return the gummies and get the oil instead. Amazon takes returns if you ordered it within the past month. Maybe that could work. But listen, each child is different. Sometimes you try both options and nothing works. But sometimes it does. So don't give up,
And
Hannah.
sometimes it takes time for the child to warm up to it.
Yeah, it depends on so many factors. If there's sensory processing difficulties, if they're very picky in general with food, then something like a gummy bear, fish oil gummy bear may turn them off. Some children won't even take any candies or because of the sensory issues. So again, it all depends. But try the liquid version and hide it into either juices or syrups or jams. Okay.
Now, Melinda wants to know that if you can, after the show, post the exact steps in our parent support group
Yes,
so that we
Melinda,
can have them there.
you got it. I'll put the steps.
Now, Michelle says, my son is able to repeat but has difficult saying the word correctly, so he can say nday instead of Monday. How can I help him say the words correctly? He also has lots of trouble with the letter R.
Okay, so Michelle, I need to know the age of your child, if you could put it in the chat.
Now he will try and say one, but it sounds like he's saying and.
Mm-hmm.
So
On,
Michelle, if you can give
one.
us more information, we'll come back to you as soon as you get us more information so
Yes.
that Jelena can kind of gauge where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Jelena, what do you need? You need the child's age?
Child's age, yes, number one. Oh, there you go. He just turned 5. Okay, so Michelle, basically the R1, it would be nice to work on the R already at this point since he's almost since he's 5. Okay, so to stimulate the R, I mean I can tell you how to do it. Technically it's done with the speech therapist. So you would be basically, does he follow directions? Will he follow if you ask him to do something, Michelle? Let me know in the chat.
He
Uh,
has been taking speech therapy since 18 months.
Okay. So the way to stimulate R is you have the child produce d d d d d. Okay, and then this is funny, and then you take your finger and you're gonna vibrate under your tongue. So I'm gonna produce d as I'm doing it. I'm gonna create the R. D d d d d d.